Let's take a look at some more Pythagorean theorem problems. So we're trying to find the missing side of the following triangle. It's not written, but we are going to assume, based on how it's written, that that's a 90-degree angle. So if it were not a 90-degree angle, we could not use the Pythagorean theorem. So the fact that they're asking us to use the Pythagorean theorem suggests this is a 90-degree angle. Now you might know it c squared equals a squared plus b squared, but you might also write it a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What's important is that you recognize the longest side is always c, and the other two doesn't matter, a or b, b or a. I'm going to call this one a, the unknown side. And then we can do the second one really nicely. It's a squared plus, my pen's not working well, 6 inches squared equals 13 inches squared. So a squared plus 36 square inches equals 169 square inches. Now we can start solving for a squared. If we subtract the 36 square inches from both sides, we get a squared equals 169 minus 36 is 133 square inches. And now to solve for the square, to undo the square to solve for a, we square root. So the square root of a squared is a. The square root of 133, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's a whole number. I know it isn't. And the square root of inches squared is inches. Now because this question is asking us to round, we can go to our calculator to finish the job, to the nearest hundredth. So if we take a look at a calculator, square rooting 133, we have 11.5325. That goes on and on and on. So we have to decide how far do we want to round. And we know how far to round on this problem. There we go. So this is we have 11.53256259, etc. That goes on forever. If we want to round to the nearest hundredth, we take a look at the hundredths position, and we decide if that number 3 is going to stay 3 or move up to 4. Those are the only two choices. In this case, since the 2 to the right is less than 5, the 3 stays the same. So we have a approximately 11.53 inches. Now some of you might choose to not use the units in the problem, in which case you would just have to remember to put the units at the very end. I wanted to emphasize that the units get all the operations like the squares, and then they're like terms, they're both square inches, so they subtract, and the square root of the square is just inches, and it all works out to be the correct units. I wanted to emphasize that, but you can just work with your numbers as long as you make sure to include the final units in your answer. Go ahead and pause the video while you try problem on the right. You should end up with 7.14 centimeters. All right, great. I hope this helps.